What's up, my beautiful, glorious Dreamfasters? It is Danny Gallows, of course, who'd you think it was, and welcome to the very last video in my 5 favorite anime series. So, it's been a short but brilliant road, I would say, and, like they always say, save the best for last. And in this case, that's certainly true in many ways, because today we're talking about Mushi-Shi, and this show is something else. Now, for any out there who may be unfamiliar with the series, because strangely it's kind of still a bit of an unknown series, Mushi-Shi is about these primitive, ethereal, strange, ghost-like creatures that sometimes resemble bugs or just, very, very bizarre life forms that are usually invisible to humans except for the ailments that they cause. However, there are some people in this world that can see them and can interact with them, and one of these men is named Ginkgo, and Ginkgo is our main character of the story. He's the main protagonist, and the entire series is about him just traveling from place to place with his traditional medicines, interacting with families and sometimes just individuals to try to heal them from their invisible infestation. And it's strange because when you hear that synopsis, it doesn't sound all that amazing, right? Like, it kind of sounds simple and kind of uneventful, but it's anything but. The show is actually kind of hard to describe in a lot of ways, but the best way I can put it is it's like a post-Edo period anime version of the X-Files. The story writing is that good, it's that bizarre, it's that unique, and it really, really hits home with this dream-like kind of atmosphere that the entire show's got going for it. It's really something that you just have to experience. And that's probably my favorite overall aspect of this show, is the unconventional storytelling. One of the reasons shows like the X-Files, and X-Files really in particular, is so good is because of these very, very unique, brilliant stories that they come up with. And it's stuff that's so out of the ordinary, but yet it works so well, and it really kind of like, sets ablaze your imagination. And it makes you think, like, how did they come up with this stuff, right? Like a perfect example is probably my favorite episode of Season 1, is an episode called The White Witch Lives Within the Inkstone. And basically it's about these kids who break into this old shed and they find this old inkstone. And unbeknownst to one of the children who uses the inkstone, she inhales the spirit. And soon after she becomes bedridden and she's freezing cold, and when she exhales, she's exhaling ice and frost from her lungs. So after Ginkgo eventually tracks down the original maker of the stone, he comes to discover that it's a type of cloud mushi, or a mushi that likes to live high up in the atmosphere, and it needs to be released back into its home. That's why the child can't be cured, right? So the solution is to go to the peak of the highest mountain, very, very, close to the atmosphere, and Ginkgo has the girl open her mouth wide when they reach the highest point, and this huge cumulus cloud comes out of her mouth and releases from her lungs and goes up and disperses back into its home up in the air. And it's such a magical moment. The entire episode is just so strange and with this kind of like I said, dreamlike magic behind it. And again, it makes you sit back after watching the episode and just be like, how did they come up with that storyline? What is that storyline? Where did the idea for that storyline come from? What is this, Another one of my favorite episodes is an episode called Soft Horns or Tender Horns. Either one of those two. But it's about a boy who's growing these mysterious horns out of his forehead, and he's having hearing problems as well. He's starting to lose his hearing, and these sounds are being produced inside his head that are getting worse and worse and worse, just kind of a strange, muted existence. And his mother actually suffered from the same exact ailment. She also grew horns from her head, and she was being tortured to death by, at first, hearing loss, and then a sound that just kept getting worse and worse and worse as she was tortured to death. And what Ginkgo eventually discovers is that it's a special type of mushi that lives within your ear canal, and it eats outside noise. That's how it survives. And all throughout his mother's sickness, she would keep raising her hands to his ears. but the boy could never figure out what she was trying to say because she was being tortured to death by this bizarre ear ailment. But she kept raising her hands to his ears, and he was always, he didn't know what that meant. But what Ginkgo discovers is that this particular Mushi's only weakness is the noise, the natural noise that the body creates. And what his mother was trying to tell him was to cover his ears. And when you cover your ears, you hear the sound of your tendons vibrating, and it sounds like lava flowing across the earth. It's kind of like a low rumbling sound. That's the sound of your muscles and tendons vibrating, which you can hear if you hold your hands to your ears like this. And when he does that, the Mushi pops out of his ear, and he's cured. And it's like, I keep going back to this point, but it's true. It's like, how do you come up with that story? It's like, how did you even think of that? Where did that idea even come from, right? And it's stories like that that just make this show so unbelievably unique. I mean, it has to be one of the top 10 most unique and special animes of all time, period. I mean, the entire show literally comes off like some kind of a weird fever dream. Like you watch a couple of episodes and go to bed, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, did I dream that? Or did I watch that? Were those episodes real? Is that a real anime? Did I actually experience that? Or am I just waking up having dreamed all that? Because that's what the entire show feels like. It has this very ethereal, dreamlike kind of quality to the show where you almost feel like you are watching someone's dreams. And that is a very, very special atmosphere to create. And the last thing that I wanted to mention about this anime would definitely have to be the music. I mean, I've got to talk about the music. That last episode I talked about with the horns? That episode has one of the most unsettling soundtracks I have ever heard in my life. That combination of the ideas that are being executed in that episode, along with the soundtrack that's playing in the background, man, I mean, it just, I can't remember, it produces such a strange feeling within you, like a strange sensation that you've never felt before. The soundtrack, really for all of the episodes, is not only magical, but it's also just, like hauntingly beautiful. It's very, very unsettling. It gives you this very, very kind of, bizarre feeling, sensations that you just can't really describe or explain. It's just pure emotion. And I love that. I love when an anime can do that, when it can just make you feel so strange. But the music is definitely what ties this entire show together and what really gives it its entire atmosphere. And man, it's making me want to watch some episodes right now because literally every single episode is better than the last one. Well, my friends, that's going to do it for my discussion on Mushi-Shi. And let me tell you guys, this show is very ancient, this show is very powerful, and it really truly does come as one of my highest, one of my most recommended anime. If you guys start with something, start with this show. I know obviously a lot of you guys out there are Dark Crystal fans, go figure. Shocking, I know. But trust me, you guys will love this show because it really takes time to delve into the mystical side of these weird earth energies. And it is one aspect of the show that is extremely profound. And I know you guys will appreciate, so please check this anime out. Also, I did just want to mention this once again before I go. This isn't a list of the 5 best anime ever made. This is just a list of my personal 5 favorite anime. And, there are so many honorable mentions. I thought about doing a little segment of honorable mentions, but there are just far too many to mention. I mean, right down there is my anime collection, and it is stacked full of anime. And not to mention that this list doesn't even include Studio Ghibli movies either. Maybe I'll do a separate video on my 5 favorite Ghibli movies. Let me know. Do you guys want to see me talk about anime more? Did you enjoy this series? If so, let me know down in the comments. Do you want me to keep talking about my favorite anime series? Because there's so many. There's so much to mention, and like I said, not even mentioning Studio Ghibli films. There's just so many anime out there that are so good that I would have a lot of fun discussing. So if you guys want to see that stuff, let me know down in the comments, and I'll just keep the anime discussions going. Because, I'm a big anime nerd, and I obviously love discussing it, so definitely let me know. But until next time we meet, guys, which will definitely be soon. I'm gonna try to upload a lot more soon. Going into the summer months, I should have a bit more free time, and hopefully things will pick back up on this channel. So, as always, guys, until next we meet, take care, and I'll see you guys back here for the next video very soon. Later.